So my name is Kyle Hall. I'm a product manager at Socrata. So it's really cool to have everyone here today and be here to show things we're working on. So in the context of what Socrata does, I work on basically our financial transparency and public safety work. So part of that, one of the things we run is crimereports.com, which is this website which does all sorts of things like post crime data, make it available to you. Very exciting. But one of the things we wanted to show today is something that was actually pioneered by Mr. Tim Clemens there. Recently featured in the New York Times. So if you have New York Times Magazine, you should check it out. It's got a great cover. But basically, one of the things that is really a very pressing issue in the context of body-worn, the context of police reform and some of the modern efforts that are happening around police accountability, data transparency, is this issue of body-worn camera video. And body-worn camera video comes with obviously a lot of upsides and a lot of downsides. One of the upsides is obviously the ability to, in real time, see what's actually happening in the context of the police-citizen interaction. The downside is dealing with the public records costs of body-worn video is outrageously expensive. It's something like 5 minutes of officer time per minute of video or so. If you take that out to an hourly rate, it's a pretty expensive proposition to deal with, for example, requests for all body-worn camera videos by SPD to the public. Thank you, Mr. Clemens.
You don't know anyone who's done that.
Yeah, no one in this room has ever requested all of that information. But one of the clever ways that Mr. Clemens was hired to solve the problem that he created was basically to take this video and do what's called a full redaction of that video. So basically, full redaction is the concept of elimination of audio and the full redaction of every frame of video. So in the context of a curated redaction, something which can't be done automatically in any reliable way, basically an officer, it's typically a sworn officer, has to actually sit frame by frame and put a blur block over every citizen, any piece of protected information. So most of these videos are an officer sitting in their car typing a report in. Anything they have up on the computer in their car is typically protected information, because it often includes suspect information, the address of an individual, basic information about private citizens that's not appropriate to share with the public. So one of the things we're working on that we actually just were able to roll out just in time for the biggest policing conference of the year, so we showed this to about 5,000 different police departments in the last 2 weeks, is basically the idea of automatically fully redacting this video, publishing it online to an AWS bucket, which is public, creating a linkage using a Socrata data set from that bucket to incidents posted on Crime Reports, because Crime Reports is now powered off of Socrata, and then using that as basically a mechanism to publish this video proactively to the public. There's a couple cool things about this. One is obviously that it's a lot more useful to, even in this kind of blurry sense, you can get a lot more sense of what actually happened in an interaction between a citizen and an officer with, even this, very limited set of video versus just seeing like the metadata of an incident. But also, as I said, that public records cost is very, very expensive. So one of the things that we have found very exciting about this is that essentially when like news organizations or citizens get to see this video, typically, I used to work for the city of Los Angeles, and I worked in a lot of campaigns, and I took a very pessimistic view of public records, which basically ask for as much as you possibly can, because you're probably not going to get what you need if you ask for something specific, which is very understandable concern. But in this context, you have a lot more confidence in what you're asking for. Because if you look at most of these videos, as I said, most of it is really an officer sitting in a car writing a report in, which is not interesting. It's just not interesting. It's not exciting. It doesn't tell you anything. Yet it is still very expensive to redact. So by presenting this information proactively, we give agencies the opportunity to basically be more transparent than they think they can be, and still not put them at too much risk for kind of getting drowned in public records costs. Because instead of actually asking for, say, hey, I need the whole video, you can actually filter this down and say, actually, only this particular component, right, where I actually see the officer like punching someone or interacting with a citizen or having a conversation or in a chase down is actually relevant, and the rest of it is not. So yeah, that's something we're working on. We're according to the VP of Motorola, who gave an interview with Tim, we're apparently rolling this out in the next 4 months. No one told me that, but we told the New York Times that, so I guess that's not a thing. Yeah, we already have a couple dozen agencies that are interested in this idea, so this is something, thanks to quite literally the people in this room, especially, once again, Tim Clemens there. It's actually has an opportunity to be very much the cutting edge of how agencies can be kind of radically transparent in publishing massive amounts of information out to the public in a way that both protects citizen privacy, officer security to the extent necessary, and protects agencies from undue costs for public records. So it's something we're pretty excited about. It's something that's one of those cool opportunities working somewhere like Socrata to do something good for the world and be part of the cutting edge. And happy to show you all today. So yeah, that's me.